People can have you fooled. That's why you can't let your intuition be overruled. You are such a genuine gem. Thank you for clicking on my Wicked Winter series. I'm Brooke Makenna, but this is about the New Year's Eve murder. Now, a lot of people at the end of a year, the beginning of a new one, are trying to change themselves for the better. But maybe some don't know how to do that. And this is unfortunately one of those. By the way, I am still posting up until the 31st. I hope you're not tired of hearing that, but it does mean you get a video every single day. So just a few more days left. I hope you are enjoying it just as much as the beginning, because I'm still having so much fun filming it for you guys. So happy to see you back here. Now let's get back to the story. Now this is a pretty recent one, because on New Year's Eve last year in Texas, the Harris County Sheriff's Department sent out officers to the 100th block of Mizzou Street at 4:30 a.m. 19-year-old Joshua McKinney was found dead in the street, and Yvonne Ramirez had been shot in the shoulder and was headed to the hospital. But this wasn't exactly an open and closed case, because a witness had heard Joshua on the phone with someone before the entire incident saying that he wanted his guns back. And after that, Joshua attempted to gather $2,000 but couldn't get that exact amount, but sent a picture of it to someone anyway. And then he left the house with a friend of his, saying that he was not going to be robbed again. And the friend who had been with Joshua came forward saying who they were going to meet was in fact Yvonne Ramirez. When Yvonne was asked about all of this and what happened, she said she was just going to get high with him, and that all of a sudden he began accusing her of stealing his guns, and she had no idea what was going on. And this is where her story gets fuzzy, because she said that Joshua got angry, and at first she said, oh, a gun dropped on the ground and it shot at him and that's what hit him. But then another time she said, well, I took the gun from where Josh held it in the back of his pants, and I took it and I shot him in self-defense. Well, another witness claimed that he had seen Joshua put Yvonne in a chokehold at one point and put a pistol to her head, and this is when he ran to get a phone to call 911, and when his back was turned, he began to hear gunshots, and he didn't see anything that happened after that. Another witness said that after Joshua was on the ground, they saw Yvonne trying to move his body, and then just ended up reaching into his pocket, taking his wallet, what they thought it was, and running away. But with all of these witness statements, they were all so contradictory to what the situation actually was and who was trying to get away from who. A resident in the area named Gloria said that she had actually had Joshua come up to her front door, bang on the door, and say that someone was after him. She kind of didn't say anything yet, and then he just kind of ran away back into the situation. And then she heard 20 to 30 gunshots within seconds, and the police were there before she could even do anything. She said that there were so many bullets flying that all she did was duck back into her house and didn't see anything happen, didn't know who it was shooting. She only heard it. When the investigators looked on Yvonne's phone, they found lots of evidence. It said not only messages to Joshua demanding that they meet and that he give her all this money, but also to another person describing how she had stolen Joshua's weapons. And when she was looked into further on her Facebook, they found that the day before the shooting, she had written a post that said, everything falling in place. I start my job Monday, getting my car soon, and then my apartment. Couldn't be more blessed. Thank you, God. They also found from her Facebook that she was a mother to a young daughter. But when the forensic evidence came back on Joshua, they found blood on his pants pocket, kind of proving that she did in fact reach in and grab his wallet out of his pants. And that's when they began to question, was this really self-defense? Well, finding all of that out, Yvonne was actually charged with murder and brought to the Harris County Jail on a $50,000 bail as soon as she was released from the hospital. And the mugshot that she took might just be the most eerie part of all, because of the slight smile creeping onto her face. But the investigators weren't sure she did this alone. with 20 to 30 gunshots just between two people, it's possible. But it was also possible that they had help. Somebody else was there as well, or even multiple people. All they really know now is that a young man's life was taken, and that people described him as well-mannered and sweet, who always said his pleases and thank yous. Gloria, the resident in the area who said that he had come up to her house, actually had a deeper connection to him because he would often come over to her house to play with her grandson. And she said he was the kindest young man who, if he stayed to eat dinner with them, he would always help her clean up the dishes afterwards. And Joshua was actually a graduate of the Texas Challenge Academy, which was a 5.5-month military program basically from the Texas National Guard. A former instructor named Regina said that he worked so hard and was determined to be a Marine and take care of his mother. She said he was a standout cadet and an amazing young man. He would give all he had to anyone he loved. This death doesn't even seem real. Another instructor of his says he was goofy, always smiling, and someone that everyone wanted to be around, but he also had that side where he was determined to do his schoolwork, to get good grades, and to be a good kid. She said that earlier that year, she had been looking for people to donate fishing poles for an event, and Joshua immediately volunteered and even said that right after work the next day, he would come over to give them to her. He was supposedly very mature for his age, and when this instructor heard of the whole robbery with the guns and having all of this criminal activity around him, she said that she didn't believe that that fit his personality at all, and that he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean, the good stuff said about Joshua just keeps coming, and it's incredible how many people have good stories about him. I mean, he has a friend from school that said that he was the kindest person to him when he first moved there. He befriended him when he had no other friends, and that he would give you his jacket off his back, even if that meant he didn't have one. He said that Joshua was the most authentic person he could think of, as real as they come. Some speculated that in this case, Yvonne and Joshua were dating before all this happened. That's how she got his weapons to begin with, and this was just another New Year's Eve date. But on her bio on Facebook, it says single because ain't nobody loyal. So we can't really be sure about that. It could have been, you know, a friends with benefits type thing. It could have been just like friends hanging out. We don't know, but it is speculated that they saw each other a few times before this night, which would make sense if she was the one who stole his weapons, unless she knew how to get his weapons a different way, maybe through a friend of his. That's the type of stuff that is unclear in this case, because it seems to be ongoing, and we'll get into that in a minute. But digging further into her actual Facebook, it was found that back in October, she posted or reposted a meme of a woman who was smiling in her police booking photo or her mugshot, and she shared it and captioned the photo saying, "Me in jail after my patience runs out and I finally resort to violence." Now, we all joke about stuff like that, or, you know, some of us do in certain ways, say stuff along those lines or just joking around, but the fact that just a few months later that actually happened or is thought to have happened is completely eerie. Then on Christmas of that year, just a few days prior to all of this, she wrote, "He's mine, and F the consequence that comes with it." Could she have been talking about Joshua? Maybe he didn't want to be exclusive with her, or was this someone completely different? Either way, it does kind of show her anger. But after this happened and she was charged with this murder, people actually went to her Facebook, and under the post where she was talking about how she was going to have such a good year, how she was having such a good life, how everything was falling into place, people commented down below saying, "Plot twist, gets charged for murder the next day." Which shouldn't be funny. I get it's like a sad case, but when you think of it, like, true. But as far as I can find, she has yet to be actually convicted in the murder of Joshua Makenna. It's been almost a year now, and I searched everywhere. So if you know of any place where it says, or you know, I would love to hear about it down below. But as far as I know, she has been charged with it, but hasn't fully undergone the trial process, which is terrifying. But I get that trials take so long. It can be years before they ever get a conviction. But do you think her allegation that it was self-defense will help her in the trial, or do you think the evidence against her is enough to counteract that? I don't know, I just find that the blood near the pocket and people seeing her take the wallet says a lot. If you were to accidentally do that, or if you did it out of fear, your first instinct wouldn't be to run to the person that you were protecting yourself from. It would be to run away, not grab their wallet. Just in my opinion. And I'm not sure if I believe that they were the only shooters or if she was the only shooter. I think that, like that friend was there for Joshua, she probably had backup too. And I just wonder if Joshua was maybe caught in the crossfire of it all. It's just an insane case that seems like there are tons of witnesses, but I bet there's also tons that have not come forward and will not, which is completely unfortunate. And I hope that if any of you are watching, you do come forward and say something, because it matters. But when I read about this case, not only did it fit because it's almost New Year's Eve, and I want you all to be so very safe, because it can be a very scary time because people are intoxicated, not in their right minds. But this case does go to show you that people are not always who they seem, and there are a lot of times when people don't have the best intentions for you. It doesn't mean they're bad people, just maybe you two aren't on the same wavelength, and you need to be aware of that. Because if these two were really dating, she obviously did not have the same agenda as him. She was using him, it seems. And if he brought someone with him to this situation because he didn't want to be robbed, it tells me that he had been in that situation before. And of course he was robbed of his guns by Yvonne, so he was definitely in situations that were not the best for him. But some of us do very unknowingly can get into these horrible situations, and that's why you really have to make sure that the people around you have the same intentions as you do. It's so very important, because sometimes when you can't protect yourself, you don't want them also against you. You want them by you, helping you. I think this case seems very straightforward in the big picture of it all. But it's the small details that are so questionable and leave you baffled in what actually happened. But you all always leave the most intelligent, eye-opening theories and just opinions down below, and you're always so kind as well, and I cannot thank you enough for that, because there are, people who can be so mean about stuff like this, and even about the victims, and I do not want to be a victim shaming channel. I want to leave the most respect, and in this case I don't want to blame the victim whatsoever just because they were in that situation. This is just one that I thought I wanted to share with you guys. It is more recent, and it makes you question a lot of things, and it also makes you want to stay safe this New Year's Eve, which is a huge thing to me. I want all of you to stay as safe as possible because I truly care about you like you're my friends and family. So please think about this case in whatever you're doing this New Year's Eve, and don't go on any crazy dates with someone you don't know unless you have like someone lurking in the corner making sure you're okay, or on speed dial if you need help. Just please, use your head, be safe, don't go too crazy. Definitely have fun if you want to. Just make sure that you have someone there that cares about you too and wants to make sure you get home okay. So I'll stop just spewing my motherly instincts on you, and remember there's going to be a video tomorrow if you want to come back and watch it. Don't ever forget to speak up. Your voice is powerful enough, and I love you to absolute pieces. Okay? Bye. January 1st is the start of something new, to honor those who can't, no matter what you've gone through.